What's going on? It's your boy Sermon at Sermon's Domain on Twitter. On February 16th, Black Panther hits studios worldwide. It's projected to make well over $100 million, as most Marvel movies do in this day and age, and it's going to be a huge event. A lot of people are excited on Twitter. Some people are even overly excited on Twitter. But nonetheless, it is going to be another great movie. I'm a big Marvel fan myself. I own all of the Marvel movies except for the bad ones like Incredible Hulk. Before we get to Black Panther though, we are getting the soundtrack, which is going to be executive produced by Kendrick Lamar. This one comes out on February 9th. And yesterday, Kendrick unveiled the cover as well as the track listing. So we're going to talk about those things today. So starting with the cover, it takes a very minimal approach. It's something that I honestly wasn't expecting because it's Disney, and I figured Disney would want to like have the cover with like Black Panther, like the posters. It'd be like the posters say Black Panther, you know, the official soundtrack. But no, it gets a very minimal approach. You just have you know, Black Panther's necklace on the cover. And that right there is pretty cool. It kind of reminds me of like the 2 Chainz, you know, based on a true story. And then the whole background is just black on this cover. So I think it works for what the goal is behind it. You know, it definitely stands out. And if nothing else, I think people might see this in stores and grab it just to see what it is, because it doesn't say what it is on the cover. But I also feel like it's marketing towards the people that already know about it. This is going to get the people who are fans of rap excited. They're the ones that are going to listen to this soundtrack over and over again. They're the ones that this is being marketed to. So, in all honesty, it doesn't really matter what the cover looks like. They don't need to have something lavish to show, you know, the poster and all of that. They just need to make sure that the people that want to know about it know about it. And hip-hop is a huge market, and it's going to do well first week. I don't think there's anybody else coming out, so I think this will be a #1 album. Getting into the track listing, I pretty much expected a lot of what we get on this album. You're getting 14 songs. Kendrick's footprints are all over it. He's on a record called Black Panther. He was featured on All the Stars with SZA, as well as J-Rock and Future's King's Dead. And then you have Big Shot, that's Kendrick and Travis Scott, and it's produced by Cardo, so that'll be an interesting combination to see. And then the last song is Pray For Me. It's The Weeknd and Kendrick Lamar. So I look at it like fans of Kendrick Lamar are going to get as much Kendrick Lamar as, you know, possible with this soundtrack. He doesn't overpower it, but he makes sure that his presence is known. And thus far, all the records that you've heard Kendrick be a part of, you know that he's like stealing the show essentially. I think All the Stars is different, but like King's Dead, he had the best verse on King's Dead. He really just went off and running on that record. Elsewhere, you see pretty much all the members of TDE are on here, minus Isaiah Rashad and Sir. Isaiah Rashad is like the glaring omission. I've seen people on Twitter speculate, like, what does this mean? Because Isaiah is not on the TDE tour that's coming up this spring, and he's not on Black Panther, so people are wondering, you know, what's going on there. Hopefully, it's just a lot of people, you know, jumping the board. Maybe it's just Isaiah working on an album, and he hasn't been you know, focus on anything outside of that. I would hope that is the case and not, you know, the worst case scenario. But you get a record called X, ScHoolBoy Q, 2 Chainz, and Saudi. It's cool to see Q and 2 Chainz collaborate once again. They've worked together in the past, a record called What They Want. And I think they'll have good chemistry. Like I always say in every video that mentions 2 Chainz, he always kills it. So I have no doubt in my mind that this one is going to be a really strong record. Ab-Soul makes an appearance, which is pretty cool. And I think he has probably one of the most anticipated songs on here. Bloody Waters. It's Ab-Soul, Anderson .Paak, and James Blake. Anderson .Paak, it feels like it's been forever since he released something, so I am looking forward just to hearing his voice, hearing his presence on a record. And Ab-Soul, I don't know what he's going to do, but I feel like Ab-Soul is going to show out and really provide a good record. I made a joke on Twitter a couple weeks ago that I wanted Ab-Soul to like make a record where he's talking about all the conspiracy theories about Wakanda. I thought that would be, you know, right down his alley. Also on this project, you have Vince Staples. He's on a record called Opps. I really thought at one point we were getting a Vince Staples and Kendrick Lamar song. I don't know if I just pulled that from Twitter, somebody saying that on Twitter, or if there was actually any evidence that it was going to happen. But nonetheless, it's good to see Vince on here. We also get a record with Mozzy from the Bay Area. He's been doing a lot of, you know, good work. He's been killing it, you know, real underground, but still known enough to be on the radar of a TDE, of a Kendrick Lamar. So he's on a record called Seasons. I think the other big song on here that doesn't feature anybody in TDE or, you know, close to them is Khalid and Swae. They're on a record called The Ways. I think that one could be like very melodic. It's definitely going to be one that's streamed a lot. Khalid gets those numbers and people can't get enough of Swae. Outside of those records and all the stuff that I talked about previously, it's like the other stuff is smaller. You got S.O.B. and RBE on a record called Paramedic. Jorja Smith has her own solo song called I Am. She's been getting a lot of traction lately. Zicari's on a record and he's done work with Kendrick before. So I like that this track listing is all original music. So I like that this soundtrack is catered towards rap fans. This is all original music, all Kendrick Lamar's doing. And the last time that we saw something like this, I want to say it was the Southpaw soundtrack in 2015, where Eminem was curating that, and he brought along, you know, Action Bronson, Prime, Logic was on there. It was memorable. It has some joints on it. I just think that Black Panther is going to go down in history as a great looking soundtrack. Great sounding soundtrack. So this one will be out on February 9th. I'll include the track listing in the description section so you can check that out. What records are you looking forward to? Which ones stand out to you? Which ones do you have high hopes for? I'm sure everybody would say the Kendrick Lamar featured songs are going to be, you know, high on the list. So check that out. Let me know what you think about it. And then like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're not already, share the video. Follow me on Twitter @SermonsDomain, and as always, thank you for your time. I appreciate you for watching, and until next time, peace.